What's up, everyone? Today we're talking about a creature that looks like it was assembled from leftover animal parts on a Friday evening before a long weekend. Meet the pelican, a walking paradox with a beak the size of your self-esteem after a meeting with your boss. Let's clear up the biggest myth right away. That giant leather pouch under its beak is not a grocery bag. It's not a warehouse. A pelican doesn't carry fish home in it to sit in front of the TV and unpack its shopping. That pouch is just a scoop net. It scoops up water along with the fish, and then, like a tired bartender, carefully strains the liquid, leaving only the snack. And this pouch can hold up to 13 liters of water. That's like being able to carry 2 large bottles of popular soda under your chin. Try to picture that at your next family dinner. Its body is clumsy, massive, and its legs are short, like everyone's patience during rush hour. On land, it moves with the grace of a wardrobe being hauled up to the 5th floor without an elevator. But all this awkwardness is a lie. The pelican's skeleton is so light and full of air cavities that this bird, weighing up to 14 kilograms, is basically hollow inside. Plus, it has a special layer of air bubbles under its skin. It's literally a bird in its own protective bubble wrap, the kind used for shipping fragile goods. It floats high on the water like a cork and can barely dive, except for a few daredevil species. Its beak can reach almost half a meter in length. Half a meter. That's longer than many people's forearms. And at the end of this magnificent structure, there's a hook to make sure the prey doesn't get away. But the most absurd joke of nature is hidden inside this gigantic beak: the tongue. The pelican's tongue is tiny, almost rudimentary. Imagine a huge concert hall with one tiny, unknown musician on stage. That's the ratio. This tongue is only needed to push the fish down its throat, nothing more. And the cherry on top of this absurdity sundae: during mating season, some species grow a massive horn-like knob on their beak. It looks completely ridiculous, like a cheap spoiler on a beat-up car. But the females love it. And as soon as the lady has laid her eggs, this knob just falls off. The guy's done his job, time to take off the party suit and go back to being a regular old bag of bones. You think the pelican is just some lazy fisherman sitting by the water waiting for fish to jump into its mouth? Think again. This dude is the organizer of the most effective criminal gangs in the bird world. They stage collective hunts that would make any mafia blush. Several pelicans line up in a semicircle and start rhythmically slapping their wings on the water, creating noise and panic. They literally herd schools of fish into the shallows like shepherds. And then the feast begins. No fuss, no fighting. Just a methodical scooping of fish with their built-in nets. Sometimes other birds like cormorants or gulls join these gangs, acting as small-time cronies, picking up whatever doesn't fit into the boss's beaks. On any given day, a boss like this needs more than a kilogram of fish. That's not a snack, it's a full-on business lunch. Yet, in flight, this clumsy-looking sack transforms into an elegant glider. Its wingspan reaches up to 3 meters. They can soar for hours, using thermal updrafts to climb as high as 3,000 meters. And when flying in a group, they form a V formation, like fighter jets, to conserve energy. They don't stretch their heavy beak forward like a spear. They elegantly rest it on their back, curving their neck into an S shape. This reduces strain and makes them look like pensive aristocrats flying to a philosophical symposium. But don't let this elegance fool you. The pelican is not some vegan pacifist. It's an opportunist to the bone. Sure, fish is its main dish. But if something else wanders under its beak, it won't be picky. Pigeons in a city park? A great lunch? Small rodents? Why not? Ducklings, chicks of other birds, even small turtles. Everything's on the menu. There are documented cases of pelicans simply walking up to a pigeon chilling on an embankment and swallowing it whole. This creature won't waste time on morals. If it fits in the beak, it's food. So next time you see a pelican, don't think of it as a cute symbol of a fishing village. It's a cold-blooded, calculating, and eternally hungry bastard that might be sizing up your small dog right now, wondering if it'll fit in its bottomless pouch. American brown pelicans have turned hunting into a Hollywood action movie. They don't float and wait. They climb to a height of 20 meters. That's like the roof of a 6-story building. And dive bomb into the water like a stone, going after fish. The impact with the water is so powerful it would break any other bird's neck. But the pelican is protected by those subcutaneous air sacs, which work like airbags. So this isn't just a bird. It's a flying armored bomber equipped with a fishing net. If you thought office politics or family drama was complicated, welcome to the world of pelican reproduction. It's a true soap opera, full of short-lived love, shoddy construction work, and brutal, fatal competition. They form pairs for one season only. No happily ever after here. It's more of a vacation romance. They meet, build a temporary home, have kids, and the next year it's, sorry, I don't know you. The courtship is a show in itself. A group of males might chase a single female through the air, on land and in water, poking each other with their beaks, gaping their mouths, and making sounds like a broken engine. This can all be over in a single day. Quick, efficient, no time for romance. Next up, construction. The female acts as the architect and foreman, while the male is the unskilled laborer who brings materials, sticks, grass, trash. The build quality ranges from "that'll do" to "look at this pile of garbage." Sometimes several pairs even build one large communal nest, a kind of avian hostel where everyone is living on top of each other. Then the female lays 2 or 3 eggs. And this is where the real survival thriller begins. Both parents incubate the eggs, but even that doesn't guarantee success. The chicks hatch naked, blind, and utterly helpless, looking like wrinkled little aliens. The parents feed them by regurgitating semi-digested fish directly into their beaks. At first it looks touching, but then all hell breaks loose. As the chicks grow, a life-or-death battle unfolds between them. The older, stronger chick gets more food. It might just push its younger sibling out of the nest or block it from the parents. This isn't just a childish squabble over a toy. This is siblicide, the killing of a brother or sister. In most cases, only one chick survives from the entire clutch, the most audacious and strongest one. It's nature in its purest form. No morality, only efficiency. But the craziest part is the chick's behavior during feeding. Sometimes, after getting its portion, a chick will throw something that looks like a seizure. It starts screaming loudly, banging its head on the ground, spinning in circles, and might even pass out for a few seconds. Scientists are still debating why this happens. One theory is that it's a way to get maximum attention and show the parents how active and viable it is, ensuring it continues to get food. So, this isn't just a baby, it's a tiny manipulator and actor, staging a theatrical performance just so its sibling starves to death. And after all that, 2.5 months later, the surviving little bastard finally takes flight. So much for selfless parental love in the pelican world. And now, let's talk about how humanity managed to turn this cold-blooded chick killer and pigeon eater into one of the noblest symbols in history. For centuries, the pelican has been an emblem of self-sacrifice, parental love, and even Jesus Christ. How the hell did that happen? It all started with medieval bestiaries, collections of zoological fables with moral lessons. They featured a legend that a mother pelican, if she has nothing to feed her starving chicks, tears open her own breast with her beak and nourishes them with her blood. Where did this wild fantasy come from? Probably from 2 things. First, in some pelican species, the gular pouch turns bright red during the mating season. Second, to completely empty the pouch of fish remnants, a pelican presses its beak hard against its chest. From a distance, this could indeed look like self-mutilation. But people saw what they wanted to see. Christian theologians immediately seized upon this image. The pelican sacrificing itself for its children became a perfect allegory for Christ, who shed his blood for the salvation of mankind. This symbol became so popular that you can find it everywhere, on coats of arms, in the architecture of churches, in religious texts. The pelican and her piety. That was the heraldic name for this image. The irony is that a real pelican, as we now know, would rather let its chicks kill each other for the last fish than sacrifice a single drop of its own blood. But who cares about reality when you have such a beautiful story? This symbol of self-sacrifice also crossed over into secular life. In many countries, the pelican became an emblem for blood donation. It adorns the coats of arms of pedagogical universities and is the prize in Teacher of the Year contests. symbolizing a mentor who gives their all to their students. That's right. We made a bird that practices siblicide, the symbol of the best educator. That's like making a shark the face of the vegetarian movement. But that's not all. Islamic culture also has a legend about the pelican. It's believed that these birds helped build the holy sites in Mecca by carrying stones in their throat pouches. Again, a noble builder, a hard worker. Not the guy who might swallow a rat for breakfast. So it turns out the pelican is the greatest con artist in cultural history. While we spent centuries praising it in poems and depicting it on emblems as a paragon of virtue, this scoundrel was just doing its thing, hunting effectively, getting rid of weak offspring, and eating anything that could fit down its throat. It is the perfect example of how wildly our fantasies about nature can differ from its harsh and pragmatic reality. We created the image of a saint, but in reality it's just a genius of survival, completely devoid of sentiment. The pelican is a living fossil. Its design has been so successful that it has remained virtually unchanged for tens of millions of years. This guy saw saber-toothed tigers and mammoths come and go. It survived ice ages and periods of global warming. It spread to every continent except Antarctica and was doing just fine. It was the perfect survival machine. And then man showed up, and the perfect machine started having problems. The most devastating blow to pelicans wasn't dealt by predators or climate, but by the chemical industry. In the mid-20th century, people began to use powerful pesticides en masse, especially one with a hard-to-pronounce name that we know as DDT. This crap was sprayed everywhere to combat insects. The chemical got into the water, accumulated in fish, and then pelicans ate those fish. The poison itself didn't kill them. It did something worse. It disrupted the birds' calcium metabolism. As a result, their eggshells became as thin and fragile as tissue paper. The birds would sit on their nest to incubate their chicks and simply crush their own offspring. Entire populations, especially of the brown pelican, were pushed to the brink of complete extinction. It was a silent and monstrous catastrophe. Fortunately, the world came to its senses in time. DDT was banned, and populations began to slowly recover. It's one of the rare examples where we almost destroyed a species and then managed to fix it. But the problems didn't end there. Today, the pelican's main enemies are us, just in a different guise. Overfishing deprives them of their food source. Pollution of water bodies and the draining of wetlands destroy their homes. And then there's fishing gear. Pelicans often get tangled in discarded nets and lines, or swallow hooks. It's a slow and agonizing death for a creature that has survived millions of years of evolution. But even in our world, the pelican manages to show its phenomenal adaptability. These birds, which we associate with the wild, are increasingly appearing in cities. They've learned to beg from fishermen, steal catches from markets, and even, as we know, hunt urban pigeons. In one famous park in a major European capital, pelicans have become a local attraction, regularly shocking tourists when one of them casually swallows an unsuspecting pigeon. They are adapting. They are trying to survive in the new, strange world we've created for them. And there's a dark irony in that. A creature that for millions of years was perfectly adapted to the wild is now forced to become an urban thug to survive. The pelican isn't just a funny bird with a big beak. It's a mirror in which we see both our destructive impact on the planet and the incredible, stubborn will to live that is inherent in nature.